Yeah, my dear Sagittarius, you have arrived today, or rather tonight, is your new moon moment, right? You have sun and both the moon in your sign. You are able to blend, right, the masculine and the feminine. And of course, the sun is the masculine and the moon is the feminine. And so here you are, like the guardian angel that you are, blending this energy together. In some cards, you are called art, right? In some, you are called alchemy. And so recognize this powerful moment here, right now, right? Where you have sun and new moon in your sign. You have no opposite energy, right? Distracting you today. And so plant that seed, plant that idea, even if you think it's just huge. And yes, it is huge because you are ruled by Jupiter. And so Jupiter is that biggest planet that is actually here supporting you and pushing you to be the world discovery, right? You are the one that finds the most craziest things out there. And you are the ninth house of learning and philosophy, and of course also of belief. Now in the yoga position I gave you Paschimottanasana, and Paschimottanasana is that deep forward bend, letting go of the old and seeing deep within myself my own grandeur, my own position as that guardian angel that is blending and that is uniting constantly the masculine and the feminine. So it's all about not finding just the grandeur outside, but also find your true size, right? Your true hugeness, like guardian angel deep within you. Your court card here in the Medicine Woman Tarot deck, you are the eagle and you are flying high and you are connected here to the totem of pipes. And so you are becoming then when you are huge like that. And you can see here in the house, the ninth house, right, is that you are learning everything about what I painted here in the Paschimottanasana forward bend, right, the chakra system. And up here you recognize that you are the guardian angel, right, that you are now seeing from a higher perspective the grandeur that you are, right, and that you of course can become. Is your birthday between November 13 and 11th of December, then this of course is your court card. If not, you can always look in the description below. I have listed all the cards that I'm using on their positions, and of course also all the court cards with their dates down below so that you can have a look for yourself. Back to the last reading where Scorpio Sun gave the Sagittarius Moon the light. 7 times 1. The ancient ones are watching and protecting you. So you had the 10 of Wands and the ancient ones, and you had here the Knight of Cups, which is a Pisces, and you have a Scorpio here from the Mother Peace Tarot talking to you through the ancient ones, right? And so it's always very interesting when I look at the cards that I picked, because there are way more here, right? But I can always recognize instantly that this is continuing, right? That this is a cyclical energy and not just like it's a reading and then the next one it's like, okay, it's a reading. It's like it's flowing, right? And so what we will look at this month is not Pluto, because that was connecting with Scorpio. We're looking at the Wheel of Fortune here. In this deck, it's the Harvest. And the Wheel of Fortune is as well connected with Jupiter. Jupiter, that grand, ideal and worth and bigness, right? And so we're going to look at the Wheel of Fortune's message from the Mystical Moment Oracle. Because what I like here is that in this deck, she draws sometimes things oversized, and that's exactly what suits basically here the Wheel of Fortune. So here we go. We are getting the perfect key. So you found the perfect key, the number 29, the 2 or the 20, right, from last time, which was the last judgment, the call, right, and the 9, which is of course the Hermit. Recognize that you realize now, when we calculate it together, we get an 11, and the 11 is then of course a portal. And with the 10 above, we get 3 times the 1. So 3 times the 1, it's really powerful to recognize now that in the one and only is you, right? Deep within you, the heart, you are recognizing that self-love is what the Wheel of Fortune is asking from you, that you love yourself, that you are not waiting for no one, right? You don't need these keys anymore. And so you have the key to your own heart, to your own cage. You don't need a partner unless, of course, you have found that love, and then you can give it back to someone instead of I'm needing a partner. And then in that need, someone comes who's gonna push those buttons, right? So we are reading one more time to the left, right? We're going now deep, deep within to the new moon, right? But you also are in the sun. You're giving yourself the light, and you are at the same time in the darkest moment. So the blending here is really fitting to this moment today. And we begin on the position of the Fool. Here in this deck, it's the Seed, comes the High Priestess. And the High Priestess here in this deck, the Visconti Sforza Tarot, is Sister Manfreda, who started a movement, right, against the Patriarch. She was the first woman that said, I want to be a popess. And so here comes the 0 and the 2, the 20, right? The 20 again, because the Fool is connected with Uranus. Uranus is the planet that pushes us to start things new. And so in a way, there is a 20 here as well, right? That you find your place, right? It doesn't matter which time we making this act of bravery clear to the people around us, but it's like you are arriving at yourself, and here she is as well arriving at herself, and she is like, I am this empowered female, and I'm gonna show it to the world, and I am pushing out those seeds. I want people to know that it is possible. And there is even a movie about that time when a woman was a popess, but no one knew, right? She was disguised like a man, but she was really incredible, and it's a really good movie. And then on the position of the Magician comes here the Hunter. And it's really interesting because she was hunted down in the end, right? People were like, she was really healing, and she knew everything about the plant medicine, and so she was actually a huntress, right? She was a very powerful woman, but in the time then, of course, she was hunted, and then of course also killed. So here the Magician, right, the potential to be this empowered energy, this thought, right, that you want to be empowered, is coming to you in the form of the 27. And the 27 is a 9 calculated together, plus the 1 is a 10. And so the 10 here speaks to you through the harvest, right? Through the perfect key that you have found deep within, and that's why you're so powerful. That's why you're so strong, and that's why you can do the things that you do, right? She's looking out into the human path to the full moon, and the bear is looking deep within into the subconscious, right? The path to the soul. And she is facing, right, slightly the outer path, and though she is very clearly intuitive in the way she makes her decisions. Now I wanted to know what is coming here, right, to the hunter. What is here this oracle saying? And the 10 of Wands are coming, and the 10 of Wands is connected with the constellation Saturn in Sagittarius. And so this is directly talking to you, right? Don't too much. Sometimes we get suppressed here, right? And so the 10 of Wands, I'm just going to put it upright, is actually saying here the priestesses are having an all-night trance dance to raise energy for healing themselves and others. Now it's facing to the left. It's facing Sister Manfreda, right? And to the left it says she is using some discretion or holding back on energy. And so what's really interesting here is that maybe she was hiding, right? And so maybe you are hiding as well, right? And now it's the time to show who you really are, who you have become, right? Because here we have the 10, and the 10 is a 20 again, right? So, or we do 2 times the 1, right? And we had here also 3 times the 1, so we have 5 times the 1 already. The one and only, right? Always remember the 1 is the energy that we looking for. Then on the position of the High Priestess, which in this deck is the Seeker, comes the 10 of Swords, which is connected to the constellation Sun in Gemini. And so here comes a very difficult moment, right? The same way, in a way, this is a difficult moment, right? It's like, it's almost like you are not finding yet your true power in the way you act and in the way you think, right? And so you have the 2, and the 10 is a 12, and the 12 is the Hanged Man. Hang upside down, do inversions, and you will recognize who you truly are, right? In your intuition, in the way you make decisions, because here the Magician is connected with Mercury, right? And she's always connected with the moon, the subconscious. So you see that Mercury is bringing here the message, right? The message of the 20 or the 10-10 with this 10, 3 times 10. And so the 3 is left, and the 3 is always the deeper understanding of the Empress being the one that is ruling and helping us to be empowered, right? To give birth to the new energy. On the position of the Empress comes here the Bounty, right? In this deck we see Death, Scorpio. Now next to this there is a death, a mental death happening, right? But it could also be that there is something not going so well for you in the way you act and in the way you think. But it's in the first line, it's all just a state of consciousness. So here Scorpio is bringing to you from the last reading, the 7 times 1, the ancient ones are watching and protecting you. And so the 13 plus the 3 is the 16. The 16 is the Tower. The 16 is let go of the old so that you can really go deeper within into your soul path to the new moon. And then the 7 is left. And the 7 is the Chariot, right? Now, the Empress as a bounty, as that having enough is what Venus brings to us, right? And Venus is always that beauty and the love that we're looking for. And so maybe there is a Scorpio talking to you indirectly and helping you to see that this overly thinking state of consciousness, the Lord of Ruin is even called, right? It's like, recognize that you are seeing this all as a state of consciousness. It's not really acting out yet in your life, but it could, right? So be careful. Then on the position of Temperance through the moon first, right? We get here the Seven of Pipes. And the Seven of Pipes are connected with the constellation Mars in Leo. And so we had 10 pipes. So we have 17 pipes. And 17 is Aquarius, is the star. So see that 17 pipes is a lot. 8 are left. And 8 is again that infinite potential to recognize how you work with also the Scorpio in a way as the 8th zodiac sign, as the 8th house of reincarnation. And so you pushing away people who block you in the way you work, right? And you can see how she's like, wow, get away, right? I am strong, I am blending, right? I am the alchemist. And so the 14 plus the 7 here is the 21. And the 21 is the world, right? The 21 is when we have realized something. The 3 is left. And so again, the Empress is talking. The Empress that is bringing you here the biggest transformation there is, and that's death, right? So maybe someone deceased, right? Because I mean, you also had here the Lord of Ruin. Maybe something, right, has shifted your perspective because you seen someone close dying, and so now you are pushing away the ghosts, right? You are here not wanting to really be pushed into a place that maybe is a little scary. Then on the position of the eagle, right? The eagle, the flyers, comes here Capricorn, the devil, the number 15. Now you're the 9th zodiac sign of learning, philosophy, and belief. And it's the question now, are you believing in the devil? Here, it's the trickster, right? When we look at this card, the trickster is just left. And it attaches us to believe things because he tricks us. He tricks us to believe that there is a bad energy. And if we believe it, then we make use of it, right? And so the 15 becomes the 6. The 6 and the 9 becomes the 15. And so the social status, right, that climbing up the ladder all the time is something Capricorn attaches us to. And so the 15 and the 6 is left. So recognize here that you see maybe in the next month what Capricorn is wanting to tell you already from a higher perspective, because you are the eagle, right? You are connected with the philosophy of learning and understanding and growing. Then on the position again of Temperance, but this time through the sun, comes here the 7 of Stones. So what's beautiful is you have the 7 of Pipes and you have the 7 of Stones framing Capricorn. So you take action to put the food, to store it away, right? You pushed away the ghosts and you are now clearly saying to yourself, I want to have food, right, over the winter, because this is connected with the constellation Saturn in Taurus. And Taurus is, of course, the one that has the wealth to make a storage, right? And so the 7-7 framing the 6 is letting you know, right, that a higher consciousness is needed to overcome certain difficulties, right? And so the 7th chakra, or the understanding that you have a mind and that you can create whatever it is that you want to create, is right here at your fingertips, right? And you just need to trust the process and take that action and see that, yes, sometimes you are stuck in a certain belief system, but you are now getting yourself out of it, right? And that's where this is coming in. And so here we see that Temperance, the number 14, again with the 7, creates the 21. So you have 2 times the 21, the world framing Capricorn, which is also ruled by Saturn, right? And the world is ruled by Saturn. So here you are with the 3 portal framing at the end here, the devil. And that's, of course, always the Empress. And the Empress brought you Scorpio, death, right? Death is clear, death is imminent, death is something that comes to all of us. Now, on the position of the moon as the dream oracle, comes here the jeweled web, the connectivity, the number 32. Now the 18 is a 9, and this is a 5, the 9 and the 5 is 14, is your number, right? And the blending is what brings you deeper into the subconscious, learning and understanding and seeing that this jeweled web, this connectivity is in your mind, is important, is also connecting you to the 5 senses, right? And so learn to understand that on the moon came the 7 of pipes, right? And so that's the 12, the hangman, deep looking within and seeing that the 12 turns again into a 3. So the 3 is a sacred holy number with the Empress. And so here you see that the 5 is important. Now I wanted to see what is talking here, what kind of connectivity is talking here, and we got the 8 of Cups. And the 8 of Cups is connected with Saturn in Pisces, and Saturn in Pisces are those emotions that let you know you are ready to move on, right? And so the 5 plus the 8 is the 13, is Scorpio. You're ready to let go of all these cups, the cups that are here held by this octopus, right? And the 8, and of course the 5, the 13, is then a 4. And so in that 4, you're recognizing the Emperor. You're recognizing that you are able to get out of the 5, right? And you get into the 4 as that new beginning, like an Aries, like an Emperor that knows certain emotions are finally ready to let go, right? And so he is facing the left, and to the left, the 8 of Cups is saying she feels unstable or uncertain about her feelings. And so that's why you need to look deeper into this connectivity. You do not trust your feelings, and you gotta really realize that this is something that you need to allow your heart to make a decision, right? Because the 5 and the 8 again is than the 13. The 13 is the 4 and the heart. That is the 4th chakra, is literally letting you know then you can move on, right? You can move on and leave things behind you because you prepared, right? You don't need to wait for no one. You're prepared. Then on the position of the sun comes the lake, the diving deep, the number 31, which is a 4. Here we have the 19, which becomes a 10. We have the 14, again your number. And so the sun also came to you and brought you the 7 of stones. You prepared. And so it's almost like, yes, you can dive deep down, right? You can dive down into the 8 of cups, and you are literally seeing now the reason why you're diving deep down, and that you want to connect to yourself, to this love that is always within you, right? That's the reason why you're diving down. And so I wanted to, of course, see why you're diving down here. And you got the 7 of Wands. And the 7 of Wands plus the 10 of Wands, right? Plus again the 7 of Wands. So these are 14 and 10 are 24 Wands. Then 6 are left, right? That's a lot of Wands. That's a lot of action. That's a lot of doing. And you see here that they are sitting and they are talking about finding the leader, right? And they haven't found the leader, and it's almost like you need to do a test. It's like if you do this test, then they know they can trust you, diving deep down and allowing you now to leave, right? This emotional instability. And so here we get the 4 and the 7. And the 4 and the 7 is again an 11 portal. The 11, of course, here, then with this is another 3 times 1. And so we have 8 times the 1 now with all the other ones, right? And so you know what you're doing, right? I'm just giving you the numbers and the spiritual meaning, but you fill in the story, right? The reality that you are living here with this. And so recognize that you have 3 times the 7, right? 3 times the 7, the pipes and the wands and the stones. And yeah, it's always that moment. You have a 7 here as well, and the 27, the hunter, right? And these are hunters, right? These women do hunt. And so find your position, find who you can become and dive deep down. Allow that, right? See that the connectivity brought you the 8 of cups. And so on the last position, right, the position of the world, here in this deck, it's the dancer, comes the 5 of cups. And the 5 of cups is always connected with Mars in Scorpio. You had Scorpio coming up on the Empress because the world, the 21, becomes also 3, right? So you see that Mars in Scorpio is bringing you a certain sadness. You see that the world is suffering. You see that the world is not in a good place. And of course, the 3 and the 5 is an 8. And you are allowing yourself to feel for others, having compassion, feeling with them. And so then it makes sense that the sister Manfreda is feeling this energy, right? Because she's the intuition, and she is bringing to the people the understanding that duality is testing us all the time. And so she's looking at you. She's almost like here behind you, and she's saying, don't be sad. Feel that and just let it be as a feeling there, but don't attach yourself to it. because you can get out of it. You can get a higher perspective, right? That's what you do when you are here, the eagle. That's what you do when you are looking at the devil, right? And see that, yes, certain energies are negative, really negative, right? But it's part of the learning process here, and that's what you have to learn. You have to learn that the world will always be in difficulty, will always be divided, there will always be very negative energies, and of course we can stop certain things as much as we can, but we cannot stop everything. And so the transition that we're going through now here with the 8, right? The 8 as that infinite, the 8 that is also the Scorpio, the 8th zodiac sign. Learning all the time that the 8 brings healing. The 8 is, right, knowing that certain things at one point don't make sense anymore and we walk away. And so I think you are really learning a big lesson right now. And in that lesson, you are learning to become even more of a spiritual teacher to others, right? Because this is, in a way, then what she has found. She has found that all that sadness, right, that is created maybe by others is also connected to me, that I must find that kind of sadness, that I must find that kind of compassion for others. And as such, you are learning that now here through being in the sun and at the same time being in the new moon, both in your sign. So I hope I see you in the next reading, because we already have Capricorn, the devil, coming here to you, right, talking to you. And so I wish you a beautiful celebration on your new moon, and wishing you that you find, right, your love, that you find your grandeur, that you find your healing. And so I thank you so much for being with me. Namaste.